Wow, it's interview section. Let's watch. Good day, my distant listeners. I trust you're doing good. Welcome to this section how to pass my interview. Today's section how to pass my interview is treating essential aspect of interview section. So today episode on how to pass my interview is titled Top Tips in Passing the Interview. The first tips you need to know is whenever you get to an interview, let your first conversation be about greeting. This will sound wild or strange to you because you don't see it as something necessary. But to be frank with you, it is something that works a lot and matters a lot in interview section. So, it is evident that you're likely to meet strange and unfamiliar people in your interview room. These people knows nothing about you and you know nothing about them. It is likely you're meeting these people for the first time, so to have a blunt attitude of you enter the interview room and just staying quiet. The greeting here shouldn't just be a good day sir, a good day man, but it should be a lengthy one that should last in about 10 seconds and also a friendly one that could bring chimes or circles in the face of your interviewer. So here is an example greeting. With this, you have controlled the atmosphere of the interview surrounding, and now you can easily control the course of the interview because you succeeded in establishing a friendly relationship and a friendly surrounding. So, this leads us to the second tip you need to pass an interview. And the second tip you need to pass an interview is always go to your interview with a new fact or a real knowledge pertaining to the position or job you're applying for. This may sound not compulsory to you, but let me explain something to you, my fellow listeners. It is sad thing to say there are quite numbers of people who are seeking for the same position or job you're applying for. So being selected from a large multitude is an opportunity for you which shouldn't be mishandled. For you not to mishandle this beautiful opportunity which has been open to you, it is essential to make research about the job or position you're applying for. This will enable you to have foresight knowledge about the job or position you're applying for and everything required and things not necessary for the position. On the course of the research, it is advisable to go deep down, finding new facts, true facts, real knowledge, or news pertaining to the position you're applying for. This will help you to pass that information to your hiring manager that you're a genius and also that you have deep knowledge about the job you're applying for. Assuming you have been invited for an interview for the post of a bank teller, on the course of the interview, you should be able to discuss about new banking policies that has been introduced by the government, the advantage of such policies, the disadvantages, and how you as a laborer can use this policy to achieve the goal of the firm. Now, these are beautiful things that are going to help you. You can also discuss about recent fraud and the city, the best way to avoid such scams. As a marketer, you should be able to discuss about a vibrant and modern marketing strategy that can be used in one of the firm or that can help improve sales. As an engineer, you should be able to discuss about a skill or skills, new machines or machinery related to the field or that can be used or help in improving the standard of the firm. You should be able to discuss about reasonable idea or ideas pertaining to the job or that can help to boost business or that can help in getting to a better height. As a computer engineer, a computer scientist, a software developer or designer, you should be able to discuss about a giant or grand secret software that you can operate or that should be introduced into the running of the firm. These are things that will help you a lot because you should be able to tell your interviewer new fact, introduce to you or she new knowledge. By doing this, your interviewer, your hiring manager will become this beyond reachable doubt that you are intelligent and your intelligence can help in building the firm. By doing this, you have beautifully stated your uniqueness and why you're the best candidate to be employed. This leads us to the top tip which you need to know before going for any interview. Before going for any interviews, always go to the interview with a remarkable effort. This may sound right to you, but actually what I mean by mark is not going to the interview with scars on the body. What I mean is that going to the interview with remarkable attitude or speech. It is pertinent to know that a lot of people have been interviewed by the same person or interviewer on the same day. It's a bit difficult to act, if not impossible, for your interviewer to remember all participants. So it is necessary for you to act in a remarkable way in order to avoid the risk of being forgotten. This can be done 3 times in a single interview, and they are the 3 times. The first time is in the beginning of the interview, that means in your greeting. 2 on the course of the interview, in your mode of that means in the mode of a conversation, and 3 at the end of the interview, that means in your closing remark. So this can be done in so many ways, which include the way you give reply to question, the way you discuss the fact, or the way you conclude your speech. Here is an example. If you're discussing about a software or policy, you can easily add names like Mr. Google, modern calculator. This can be done by using metaphor, simile, compare yourself to things or humans that has an influential characteristics related to the speech or related to the field. At the end of the interview, your closing remark can be a remarkable one. So here is an example. You can put it this way: thank you very much, sir. Just like every human await the season, I wait to reply your response. Or you can also say, thanks for your time, sir. I am Mr. Peter, the Cambridge student. I am Mr. Wahab from Washington. No, these are things which will be used to remember you. Hey, what about the Washington guy? What about the guy from California? What about the Cambridge students? So these are factors that are going to help you outside the interview. The fourth top tip which you need to know how to pass an interview. The fourth tip is create a friendly relationship with your interviewer during the course of the interview. Your attitude during the course of the interview, your actions and reactions at the end of the interview speaks a lot. Interview women outside the four walls of the firm. You can come across your interviewer again in the street, in a venue, in a walkway, or a bus terminal, or a train terminal. If you have succeeded in establishing a friendly relationship with he or she during the interview, you can possibly start another conversation with he or she or go on discussing better things and better opportunity could come up. This leads us to the fifth top tip, which will serve as the last top tip for today's interview section. So, on the fifth top tip you need to know is be ready to give the SLT. Now, SLT is an abbreviation of three keywords which are also human characteristics. In passing any interview, it is expected of you to have these three attributes because they are the most essential attributes when it comes to profession. SLT on this note means serving, loyalty, and trustworthy. Let me enlighten you on this three main words. By nature, human is a selfish being and destined to satisfy its own selfish interest. The reason why your employer is willing to employ a laborer is because he or she wish and want to grow his own personal business and not for any other reason, not for creating job and employment in the city or not to help you, but in order to grow its own firm. The employer, as the owner of the firm, is the head of the firm, and in order to grow that firm, he needs servants, followers, who will work for him, who will obey his order, and not laborers he won't be able to control. For this reason, he will always seek for a good serving worker before assessing qualification, because an expert who can serve his employer what he or she wants is of no use. So loyalty, on the other hand, is one of the most essential principles for a worker. Loyalty is the blood of every business or firm. It is a spirit that keeps every organization and every partnership to its feet. And so every employer or hiring manager will seek first for loyal worker because loyalty pays better than hard work. And that is why you see that at many interview sessions, loyalty questions are often asked. Questions like, what would you do if one day you get to discover that your boss involves in fraudulent activities? These are loyalty questions which are difficult to answer, but our next interview episode will be treating on the best answers to loyalty questions, and that is why I urge you guys to please subscribe in order not to miss that out. So, trust, which is the third key, is the key for every relationship. It is a factor that strengthens relationship between two people, and it's an essential factor in building any organization. Trust simply means the presence of confidence and reliance among two agents. The truth is, no one is going to employ a fellow who he or she doesn't trust because it is impossible to make a cordial relationship with a fellow you don't trust. So this makes it normal for every employer to seek first a trustworthy candidate to employ. Also, in all, before leaving for any interview, make sure you deposit in yourself these three attributes because they speak better than anything, and also they are capable of securing the job for you. Within the 30 to 45 minutes of the interview, you should be able to convince your interviewer on this attribute. You should cultivate the ability to involve serving, loyal, and trustworthy in your speech and in answering interview questions because that is the three things your interviewer wants to hear. So here is the free tip for you. Always wear a corporate dress to your interview section. However, in cases where the job you're applying for has a costume, please always put it on. Always put it on because it matters a lot. So This takes us to the end of today's section on how to pass my interview. Watch out for the next episode. I wish you success in your interview.